Yep, we're live.
All right,
Yep.
fellas, what's going on? We're just doing a random open mic on Saturday night just to talk a little bit of football, try to help Jamez get a little bit of a more football aspect of the game, you know. He comes up short in a lot of topics, so we're here to help him out, man. You got your pencil and paper to that today?
I think I'm just going to do a mental notes today.
So who exactly? Let me ask you this, Jamesh. How exactly are you guys going to get in the positive, being $27 million in the hole right now?
Well, that's a two-way question. Now, getting into the positive, that's easy, Bill. But now getting into the positive and securing the draft, the money for the rookies, and making a couple free agency splashes like we need now, that's the hard part. I trust the process, man. I trust who we got on the job, bro. It's just in a situation where we're going to have to kick the can down the road with Kirk Cousins. We're going to have to restructure this thing with Thielen.
But isn't this the question we always have, Jameis?
What's up, Darren?
That's always the question they have for us. And don't we always make it?
Oh, that's Winkleman. Oh, but
there's always you're right. You're absolutely right, Winkleman. But the problem is your defense showed what happens. That showed this year.
Yeah, but remember
you were putting up a lot of points.
Patrick Mahomes' first year in KC.
Yeah, but you put up a lot of points last year. Your offense definitely was scoring points, but you couldn't stop a cold if you had NyQuil. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that's a good one.
But I mean, how many wins did we get last season? Was it more than the Packers?
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't get fortunate like Minnesota and play 4 backup quarterbacks, so we didn't actually get lucky. Neither did the Bears. They didn't get lucky like that either. The only team that actually in the North that got lucky was you.
You guys played 4 backup quarterbacks, though. Don't lie.
All right, can you name us a year there, bud?
No, not really, but I know you got lucky a couple years.
Case closed. Case closed.
Dun dun.
Oh,
hey, Bill, but don't we talk money though every season? Every season,
we always
money argument. It's gotta be
for
the most part. It's the stupidest argument we go through every year because what happens every year? The GMs restructure this, restructure that. They trade away this. They buy, and the money thing. Unless you're like Jacksonville, who legit is $26 million over the cap and has 2 weeks to get to last year's cap. I mean,
is 60.
And that's a once every decade kind of thing.
I mean, I remember last year.
They never.
We were talking.
They always find the money.
Not doing it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like every year, it's the same argument. You don't have any money yet. Every team always seems to have the money.
Draft.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but now Chicago.
The money argument to me is just good.
And the number one
pick North, and they're still
the not having money argument. The not having money argument has got to be the worst argument in every free agency. It's just you don't have the money. They find it every time. It's the worst argument.
The only reason I say it's somewhat of a problem for us is because we got to think about paying Jefferson. We got to pay Jefferson. We got to think about paying Jefferson now, bro. That's the only reason why I would say it'd be kind of a problem for us. It definitely will be in a couple of years. That's why I say our window is closing soon, bro. But right now, I'm not worried about it.
Now, don't you have Kirk Cousins and Jefferson's contract up in the same cycle, correct?
What do you mean cycle? Oh yeah,
they're both going to be due contracts at the same time.
I have
that's
going to be tough. That we're going to let Cousins go. We're going to keep Hawkinson and
that ain't going to be tough.
At the same time.
Hang on, guys, one at a time.
That ain't going to be tough, dude.
That ain't going to be tough to do. So, do you guys think you cut your ties with Dalvin Cook this season? Do you guys think you trade him away or release him? Or
he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's not worth the money.
You know what? Maybe you should ask Jefferson about that.
Yeah.
Because what I read was that the general manager is going through Jefferson, running it by him every move that they're going to make. Not even Cousins, but Jefferson.
Yeah, because Cousins ain't the future.
I mean,
Jefferson is going to be more the future.
I mean, Dalvin Cook.
It's because Cousins ain't the leader.
Right.
Well, I mean, moving on from Dalvin Cook,
but
it doesn't make sense
right. He's our number one man.
You got a sophomore wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's the leader. It's the leader.
Yeah. Jamez is down with that.
For the Vikings,
I'm down with that too.
For the Vikings,
look at it. He's the best
receiver
receiver
in
in
his
the North.
fourth year, bro. He's not a sophomore.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamez, I think you'd agree with this.
This will be his
Jamez,
third
I think
year.
you'd agree with this. So, Jamez, tell me if you'd agree with this.
Year, bro.
Moving on from Dalvin Cook.
It's not a fucking sophomore.
All right, so Jamez, tell me if you agree with this. Moving on from Dalvin Cook actually makes sense for your organization because of how much time he's hurt, and because you can usually get about the same back in the draft. Moving on from him makes sense for you, not only financially but production-wise, because he last year wasn't there. The year before that it dropped, and you've had to use other guys in your system anyways. So is Dalvin moving on from Dalvin Cook? Does it really hurt?
Well, Ken. Also, we'll also look at the fact, bro. Not only we threw the ball a lot last year, so I won't just say he had a down year. He played the whole season, but the thing about it is now, bro, look at how many miles that have been put on him already, bro. He's got about 1,200 to 1,300 carries under his belt, all goddamn ready. You got to remember, Zimmer ran him into the ground pretty much those first couple years, bro. So how much life expectancy does he have? Why do you think he's saying, hell no, I'm not taking a pay cut, bro? I've earned this money from you guys. I just think it would make more sense, not only the money aspect, but, bro, if we can't sign Madison, where we got a nice damn running back in the wings guy. I keep on trying to tell you guys about Ty Chandler, man.
Yeah, and
not only Ty Chandler, you got to think about the other one.
Well, you think running backs are the one position you can afford to. If you look at the way the league is, the running back position is the one position where you can afford to dump that big contract guy the easiest, because you can always seem to get production either out of a decent tandem or a second or third rounder, even in the draft will give you good enough production to do what you need offensively.
Was the second rounder. Don't forget about that.
That's right.
Hey, Jamez, you want to take this one? Any thoughts on the Lions this up and coming season? And just to let everybody know watching, if you want to call in and ask anyone a comment or a question, then the phone number is 872-216-9360.
I think the Lions definitely got the potential to be a good team, bro, and to keep at least going a little bit forward from where they were last year. I'm skeptical about it just off of Jared Goff. I think we see that was the best year we've seen from him, bro. And I think that I don't think he can match another year like that. Now, if they take a quarterback at number 6 or something like that, and then they get him under the wings, or they have him, there in case Goof gets the fucking up, then now we have a different story, man. I think they got a lot of capital for this draft. They can definitely get their defense better. But I got them somewhere around the same as they do last year, bro. I can see them being like a 500 team.
Okay.
I see them actually going after a guy like David from the Buccaneers in free agency. Okay. And I can see them actually finishing ahead of the Packers.
Yeah, and that's why we
Lions win the division.
Kids, don't do drugs, buddy. Don't do drugs. Exactly. How about you? How about you, Anthony? What's your thoughts on the Detroit Lions upcoming? Are they up and coming, or?
Actually, I like what they're doing. A lot of rah-rah from the coach. But that defense is stout.
It's getting there.
So if they get a quarterback, because golf isn't it.
Yeah.
They get a quarterback, man.
Most logical Lion fans will agree.
They can take the North.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How about you, Mike, the Bear fan? What you think about the Detroit Lions upcoming season?
Well, they think they're going to win the Super Bowl, Darcy is, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you don't think so? How about you? What are you thinking, Ken?
I think they're going to win the division.
All right, that's enough of him. How about you, John?
Seriously though. Look, we can all homer and talk. Hold on, John. We can all homer about our teams and downplay the Lions, but you got to like the swagger of their front office. You got to like the swagger of their head coach. Their defense is stout, has been said. I think Goff is playing better. I think that they're going to go after one of these very this tight end class that we just watched in the combine that is very deep. I think they're going to go after a tight end in the first 2 rounds. Actually, this Lions team's on the come up, and they have the potential to win the division. I don't think last year was a fluke.
I think they'll finally do it, huh? They'll finally win the North.
It's been building for them over a couple of years. I think the potential's there. If the season were to start today with the rosters current what they are, I think they win the North. Now we'll see what happens with some free agency stuff, but yeah, they're right there. I mean, for once, the Lions have a legit chance.
All right, let's move on to John Dorn. John Dorn, what's your thoughts on the Detroit Lions up and coming season?
Well, I think they're fucking the fool's gold Lions. I think
fool's gold. He said it right here.
Fool's gold Lions. You got to figure 5 of their wins came from our division. Our division was it sucked last year. It was horrible last year. I mean, are they up and coming? Maybe a little bit, but I mean, they took advantage of a really bad fucking division. I mean,
right.
I just don't.
Really bad. I mean, didn't we have a 13-win team in this division?
Yeah, but you played 4 backup quarterbacks, buddy. Keep sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
All right, Darian, what was your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the Detroit Lions up and coming season? What's your thoughts on that, buddy?
I'm just saying I'm not sold on them yet.
Then we're gonna go to Rob.
My thoughts on the Lions are where I sit with them right now. They're good enough to where they had the potential to be a playoff team with this upcoming season. I won't go so far as to say they win the division, but they have been in the right direction with the start of the rebuild that they've been on before. And this kind of season for them, I kind of seen it coming.
Right. Okay.
So
how many wins?
They could get 9 or 10 this season.
I could agree with that. 9 or 10 wins for them.
Okay, I could see that. All right, let's Rob, what's your thoughts on the Detroit Lions up and coming season? And welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks. Sorry it's late.
You're good. We started a little early.
I feel like the Lions have every reason to be optimistic. I think the way that they ended the last half of their season, the games they won, even the games they lost, they played very, very close. Here's why I have a hard time making a prediction. We haven't even gotten all the teams to day one to set the salary cap, to get everybody under the salary cap. We haven't had the draft. We haven't had free agency. We haven't had camp cuts.
Right.
We have no idea what anybody's roster is going to look like. I mean, if you figure just looking at the core players that teams are going to keep, I think they've got the right to be excited. And I think as long as if they draft the way that they have the past 3 years, I'm not concerned with it because they've had one of the best drafts in the league, really. And then, depending on what they do in free agency here and there to fill in extra needs, get depth on their lines, it would be important. I can say that about my team too, but I can't even venture a guess. I would like to say they're going to be better than last year, but there's so many things that have to happen with draft and free agency. Mm-hmm. But if you think that was a fluke and they're going to fall off and go back to being like a shit, like 3 to 5 win team or something, I don't think that's going to happen by any stretch. I think they'll be at least as good as they were last year.
Okay. All right.
I agree with that.
I got a good question for the panel. We'll go around and we're even going to start it out with Mike, the Bear fan. What do you think the Bears do with the first overall pick?
Well, I believe they're going to trade down for sure. Probably a couple times, but I still think we get Will Anderson.
You agree with that, Ken?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, watching the combine, it kind of more solidifies the trade down possibilities, especially with the quarterbacks today. That market just got a little more intense. So, and there's no reason. Look, if we think that Fields is the quarterback of the future for us, and he's already that guy, then you do trade it, and it's a no-brainer.
All right, how about you, Anthony? What do you think about what do the Bears do with the first overall pick?
I think Poles is going to trade it twice. I think first he's going to trade it to the Texans, and he's going to get what we can get from there. We'll move down. We'll move down to number 2, right? And then from number 2, we'll trade it down to the Colts. That way they can get the second best quarterback on the board, right? And then I think that we'll stay there with that draft capital.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
What do you think, John Dorn?
Well,
what do you think? What do the Bears do with the first overall pick?
Well, after today, he probably watched all the rookie quarterbacks. He looked like he said before he'd be wowed, and he probably got wowed today. And I think they're going to go for a quarterback that first pick and send fucking Fields right down the road.
Wow, you really don't? You think Poles wants his own guy, huh?
Yep.
Honestly, I don't think Fields. I don't think Fields is Poles' guy, and I think that they're going to get rid of Fields, or they're gonna sit there and they're gonna utilize Fields as like the Niners utilize Lance, where he's gonna be that little off-screen player.
Yeah. All right, Jamez, what do you think about the Bears? What do they do with that first overall pick, man?
Well, I kind of agree with some of the other guys. I just think, like you said, man, unless the Bears and Poles felt like that Justina Fields wasn't the guy, unless they felt like he wasn't the guy, man, you don't stay there, man, unless you want a quarterback or unless you're trying to position Fields with something with that to get a quarterback. I think I'm not sure exactly who they're doing with. I was thinking maybe the Colts, but I think they'll try to stay within that top 5, top 10 so they can get a game changer as well. But They need the extra picks right now, man. Bad. They got a lot of roster spots to fill.
I mean, I can see them going after C.J. Stroud.
Nah.
All right, how about you, Darren? You've been over there hiding, buddy. What do you think the Bears going to do with the first overall pick? Yeah, you, buddy, you.
I think they're going to trade Nick and Justin Fields.
Really? All right. Well, let's move on to Rob. What do you think, Rob?
Well, I thought I had this figured out before the incident with Jalen Carter. And to be honest, we don't know. The best I've seen is I think they're going to charge him with reckless driving or whatever, but we don't know how that's going to affect his drop. I mean, PFF had him ranked number 2. I was thinking, well, let's say the Bears just trade with the Colts. The Colts give him a lot of picks or whatever, that he could be there at number 3 or whatever. And that's like, to me, the perfect match for the Bears is grabbing Jalen Carter, but he could go on a 25 pick slide.
Couple round slide.
I mean, a several round slide is what some people are talking. I think that's a little extreme. I think there's teams that could use a really, I mean, Minnesota. If I was Minnesota at number 23 and there was no trades, which I also don't see, that's a different topic for later in the show. But if he landed at number 23 and I was Minnesota, I'd take the Randy Moss gamble and draft him there. I wouldn't let him slide in the second. But so I agree. I mean, you've got Will Anderson. You've got a corner, Devon Witherspoon at number 6. It depends on how many back that they want to trade.
So you think they won't trade if they trade that first round pick? It won't be traded till draft day.
I think they'll have it predetermined before the draft, but they're not going to announce it until they come on the clock because I don't think they want to show their hand. What they're doing.
Actually, he did. Cole said that the pick was going to the highest bidder.
Yeah, if I was the Bears GM, I'd be the same way. Yep. All right, let's move on to
first pick.
All right, Darren. Darren, what do you think the Bears?
It's not a matter of believing in Fields or not, because he is the foundation.
I remember Jacksonville did the same thing.
And far as Carter, drafting Jalen Carter, I was never a big fan. Once I saw him get worked, 1-on-1 against, I think it was Ohio State. So I was never a big fan, but that kid.
The Bears might still take a gamble with him. They still might gamble with him regardless.
Yeah. That
He's
kid
only
from
facing
Pitt is the real deal.
I mean, you trusting the Bears?
We can get him at like 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's see. Hey, Darian, what do you think the Bears are going to do with the first overall pick? Do they use it or trade it?
I'm what most Bear fans will say they'll trade it. Like, I'm in the same boat as anyone else. You won't keep the first pick unless you're that kind of team who desperately needs a QB, and I don't see the Bears moving on from Justin Fields anytime soon. So I think they do trade down.
Okay,
get the guy they want on their defense.
And let me piggyback off A-Dub real quick.
Go ahead, Ken.
On this too. So and they were talking about this today. First off, the quarterbacks today, I think a couple guys, their stock moved up. I think you might see 5 guys in the first round quarterbacks go.
Right.
But if you look at what's coming up in 2 years' time, there's another good batch coming up next year and the year after that already track it. So if you're polls, you can say, look, Fields is my future. I can get a truckload of draft capital. And some of the trade scenarios that work on NFL Network for the Bears, we're talking, they're going to get a first rounder from this team, whoever they trade for, possibly. Right. the next 3 years. So if you're thinking, well, I got 2 years on Fields, and if he doesn't pan out, and I'm still going to have 2 first-round draft picks because I traded with number 1 this year, I can still go get my guy in 2 years if I need another guy. And I can still build the foundation I need to build everywhere else on the field. But I think even John Dorn would have to say that Fields is serviceable enough as is
as a running back
to help his team at least be an average to above average team. I mean, he's better than what a lot of people have right now.
I mean,
look, he went 3-4 games with them. He went 3-4 games with them.
So I mean,
I think
they could still improve, but I mean, if he's not your guy, you're just with trading this year. You're not tying yourself down the field still. You still got 2 more years of rookie contract to really kind of see if you're making the right choice.
Mid-round, would you pick up quarterback in the mid-round just for a backup? I mean, because those running quarterbacks don't last long.
So, John, I was thinking that same thing today, looking at some of these quarterbacks. There's a couple of them that will be a good
line.
I mean, but there's a couple of these guys.
You should take a tackle first.
This quarterback. All right, so I won't answer John's question, or will I? No, I'll answer John's question. Yes, John, to answer your question, I think there are some quarterbacks in this draft where you could pull one in the 4th or 5th round to be the backup this year and would be a completely serviceable backup, and could also even be a project that you could look at, say, okay, if Fields doesn't work in 2 years, this guy that we're going to pick up in the 4th, 5th round could be the guy. Yeah.
Right,
so, I mean, I could totally I kind of would call it like the Love scenario, except you're not wasting a first-round pick on a guy that's going to be your backup for a couple of years. Like
you got some money to spend. You got some money to spend. Just go get Wentz.
You do, but you rather, but you want to pick up other stuff like edge rush, O-line. I mean, it's not the priority. So,
a lot of holes to plug.
Yeah, but the quarterback is not the quarterback's not the whole priority. Is not a.
I heard something about the Packers are trading Jordan Love to the Bears for #1 pick. That's what
I think. Yeah, and you'd be high on crack if you think anyone would ever do that.
I think the Packers better
than a 3rd round pick.
Aaron Rodgers.
All right, guys, one at a time.
The question you need to be asking is who is desperate enough and needs Bryce Young the worst. Part A, part B of that question: who actually has the draft capital and who's close enough to be able to move up? We know the Colts, the Jets, they're down the ways. Panthers, they're kind of middle of the pack. They might.
Rob, Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets, so they don't need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
If he has
there's about 5 teams. Rob, realistically, there are 5 teams that could probably put together packages.
The Raiders at 7 might be a little desperate if they can't.
4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah,
and that's all you need because
the Raiders might get desperate, man.
We're telling jokes now.
It could be the Raiders.
Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. Yes, sir. You heard it here on the
After the Jets is going to the Vikings, guys.
Let me take a piece. Let me take a piece of this room.
Well, hang on one second. I just want to give a shout out to my sources. His name is Sir Rocker VWO, Rob P. Haskell. He is my. But go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just joking, man. I was saying that I didn't believe that.
He was just wishing he had a quarterback. Did you just say that? You wish he had a quarterback?
Yeah, he said he's got a running back, not a quarterback.
Hey, Bill, aren't you going to announce the guy who taught John Dorn everything he knows coming onto the show?
I've actually, John's been on here. He taught himself.
The other John.
Yeah, I'm on here. What?
Oh, no. Oh, you're talking about the other John. Yeah, well, that's why Sullivan is here. He's here to be in session. He's here to be in session.
Sullivan's here now? Dang.
You're at the School of the Frozen Tundra. So, hey, let's get on this next topic from one of the viewers. She says, do you believe that Aaron Rodgers is coming back for one more season?
Heck no.
Who wants to start that one out? You want to start that out, John Dorn? You love your Jordan Love, so let's hear what you got.
Yes.
It's a possibility he comes back.
Yes.
But me personally, I want him gone. I think the best for the Packers is to move on from him.
I agree, John. I agree.
I mean, it's time to move on. We got Jordan Love. Let's see what he can do. But it's all up to him. I don't know what he wants to do. I mean,
right.
You can't just say no to him if he wants to come back and play for the Packers. You can't just say no. I mean, he did so much for this fucking organization that you just can't say no to him.
Right.
Did he, John? Did he?
At the same time, keeping him around, it's just going to be a conflict.
It is.
A conflict in the organization.
Yeah, it's going to cost us about $60 million if he stays another year. So hey, let's go to a Darian. He never gets to go pretty early in the topics. I heard you yelling over there, buddy. Does Aaron Rodgers stay another year?
Yeah, he'll come back. I mean, every part of me, if I was to be in Rodgers' head, every part of me thinks he wouldn't let his final season end the way it did. Like, I'm sure he wants another year to play football. But like John said, I think it is in Green Bay's best interest they do move on from it.
Okay. Well, since saying that, let's move on to John Sullivan. What's your thoughts, John? Does he stay another year?
I could care less, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're over there praying every night.
Here's my question to you guys: Is Jordan Love capable of making those young wide receivers, look good?
Yeah, they look pretty good versus the Eagles, and the Eagles went all the way to the Super Bowl, bud.
Yeah, but that's a game where they're up like 2-3 scores.
Okay, remember, these are all OTAs, everything else. He works a lot with them young receivers.
Right.
So
Come on, John. Keep up, buddy. Keep up, John.
Even towards the end of the season, he was playing with the ones most of the time because Rodgers' thumb was hurt.
You're talking to Packer fans.
Good
I think
point.
Aaron Rodgers is top notch, John. Think about it.
Well, I mean, you think Kirk Cousins is top notch, and we don't judge you, buddy. So,
Who said that Kirk Cousins is top notch here?
Oh, that would be Jonathan Winkleman.
I got thoughts on that.
No, I haven't. I never said that. I've trolled it, but I never said it.
But hey, Ken Dobb, what's your thoughts? Does Aaron Rodgers stay another year?
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, Thielen thinks he's going to retire, but we talked off camera before. You said he's got 59 million reasons to stay, and I think that's just it. And look, even the Packers want to trade him. Rodgers controls that too. So for the Packers, it's kind of an uphill battle. It's like, okay, he says he'll be traded, but now we got to find a partner that he's willing to go to, which then means we lose leverage. Yeah,
there's no trade clause in this thing. They could trade him, and if you don't want that team, the only option he has is actually to retire.
Yeah, but then negates the trade, and then you're out cap money. So they do have to find a place he's willing to go. Because if they make the trade, but John, hold on. John, let me before you jump on it, let me answer.
John's at your throat, buddy. He's on you.
John, if they would say they trade him to, I don't know, Seattle, and he says I don't, or Jacksonville, because they'll never happen. Let's say one of those places. And he goes, no, I don't want to play there. He doesn't report. He says, I'm going to retire. That kills the trade. That leaves Green Bay on the hook now for the money. So really, it's whatever he wants you to do. So unless you find a situation he wants to go to and find a team that not only is willing to take him, take the contract, but also give you compensation you want,
well,
Green Bay has no choice but to be stuck with
Big Chips would be fine. As long as he's gone, I don't give a shit.
Las Vegas.
I don't think he's going to be gone. I think he's going to stay, and he's going to really he's going to force the Packers to do something. And he's going to force the Packers to do something with Jordan Love, trade him or cut him. That's what I think. He's bitter about Jordan Love. And look, I think when the Packers drafted Jordan Love, I thought it was a good move because we didn't think he had this many years left, but he's proved us all wrong. He's still here and he's still kicking. I think there's a little bitterness at the Packers and Jordan Love, and I think he would stick around with nothing more than to stick to Jordan Love saying, you're not getting the start as long as I have to stay.
All right. Hey, Jamez, what do you think, man? Does Aaron Rodgers stay another year in Green Bay? What's going on, man?
I don't think he is, man. And I wouldn't be totally surprised if he did because I've been hearing about him supposed to be leaving for a lot of years now, and it has never happened. But there's a couple of factors in it. One being the fact that the Packers were openly saying that they were shopping him, bro. That's the first time that they just let me know, like, listen, if you come with the right amount, you can have them. And I know that left us a little bit of a salty taste in Rodgers' mouth that he felt. You know, Rodgers, man, the type of guy, he's a methodical guy. He thinks, man, he's like, damn, you motherfuckers even have the audacity to shop the 4-time MVP.
And he said that too on Pat McAfee too. He said, looks like there's talks going behind my back that I'm not involved in.
And you got to think, man, he's the type of motherfucker, bro. He feels like if you ask Aaron Rodgers right now, he'll tell you straight down he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, even though that's no longer true.
Okay, you can stretch it a little bit, but
he's earned it, bro. Bill, he's earned the leverage that he has right now. He's earned the money, all that. I just don't want to see him go to the New York Jets because I think they will become too good of a goddamn football team to deal with around this motherfucker. I want to see him go to Las Vegas, or Washington, something like that.
Or Detroit, so you have to see him twice a year again.
He
had to stop and think about that one.
Or how about send him to Carolina?
I'd rather see him go to
Yeah, Carolina is on the list. I hear they came a calling.
Yeah, but Green Bay already said they will not ship him to an NFC team. So
I think they will.
I know we've heard that Carolina is interested, but unless Gutekunst changes his mind, because Gutekunst said we won't let him go to another NFC team. So unless Gutekunst is lying to us or changes his mind,
now,
Carolina's out.
I think he's
There's
going
a chance he
with that
could
now.
change his mind.
Hey, Bill, John.
Smoke on that. Now, given he probably doesn't want. I'm sure the Packers don't want the situation to ever come where Packer.
Well, we got to face him, man.
Like,
I don't want to see him again until the Super Bowl.
Just blitz the fucking hell out of him.
You know what I'm saying?
He can't scramble like he used to.
All right, we got one more to get to. Hang on. We got Anthony Stewart. What's your thoughts? Does Aaron Rodgers stay another year or what? I mean, I know he's the boogeyman in Chicago, but what's your thoughts, bud?
He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. But my thoughts tell me like he's gonna demand a trade. Right? But nobody's gonna give him what he wants. You know, but my main concern is Jordan Love. Right? Aaron Rodgers and that organization has made Jordan Love a career backup. By sitting him on the bench for what? This year would be 4 years.
You know that Jordan
that's a
Love
long time to sit on the bench. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We all know that he's not Brett Favre. So before we throw that caveat in there, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Favre. You know.
Do you know what Rodgers would say?
You're
not in his circle. You're not in his circle. That's what he's gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he'll be back too. He'll be back in Green Bay. I don't think he gets traded.
Honestly, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to Chicago.
You want to respond to that, John Doran?
No, we know you're smoking drugs.
Actually, I would love it if he went to Chicago.
Hey, Mike, did you had something else to say? Go ahead.
I didn't, but he's not going to Chicago.
Yeah, he's part
He's gonna go work at Rodgers Field, Mike.
Okay, one at a time, guys. One at a time. John, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Sullivan.
I can definitely see him go to Bears. I mean, he does all
he can't go to Chicago. He's part owner. There's a conflict of interest.
I love the drugs that John smokes, man.
What's up,
John? You must have a good drug dealer.
But tell you the truth, though, I mean, why won't we change him to an NFC team? I mean, if we don't no longer want him and think that he's downhill, why not send him? Once you face him, just blitz the fuck out of him. And
right.
He's not mobile like he used to be, man.
Jamez is tired of seeing him twice a year. But go ahead, Sullivan. Go ahead.
No, my question, you Packer fans, is if Aaron Rodgers were to be traded, who would you like him to be traded to? What would be the better fit for him?
You want to take that, Dorn?
What's that?
It's on you, buddy.
If he is be traded, where would you like to see him be traded to? What would be the better fit for him?
Jets, actually. I like to see him go to the Jets and actually see him, and then the Packers versus the Jets in the Super Bowl, and we win.
Yeah, see, that's the way life goes, man.
Lots of drugs. Lots of drugs in the Dornhouse.
What's Rob got to say? Rob's got to say something.
Go ahead, Rob. You want the floor? There you go, buddy. Let's see what he's got to say now.
I'll say this about Aaron Rodgers. There's two things in life he met that he never hated for a single second. One of them's attention. The other one's money.
Just stop with the fake news.
So I look at it this way. He'll go to whatever situation gives him the attention and the money, and I'm waiting to see what team that's quarterback needy that doesn't have things fall their way in the draft, because if they can pony up more money in Bay at that point in time, shit could get pretty interesting.
When it comes to me,
Rob, do you think So, Rob, do you think then that this becomes a post-draft decision, not a pre-draft? Because I would tend to think this would be more of a pre-draft because shape how Green Bay.
I get where you're coming from, but also if it becomes a post-draft decision, that amplifies the attention and the media coverage he's getting too, which he loves.
Yeah, I mean, but for the Packers, I would think the Packers would want this done pre-draft.
I'm sure they do.
Because it's going to affect. Yeah, because it's going to affect completely the way they draft. I mean, if they think Rodgers is staying, you draft one way. If they think it's going to be Jordan Love, you maybe draft another way. So, I mean, I would think they'd want this done before free agency begins.
Oh, yeah, I would think so, too. So
I'm sure the Packers would prefer that. But, again, Aaron Rodgers is the one that has the say on any kind of trades. So
yeah, he said he's not going to be holding us down too long. So he should be coming up with an answer here shortly.
I think this week we'll find something else.
Yeah, I think by the middle of next week. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, fuck Aaron Rodgers. Fuck
Next topic.
The next topic is Justin Fields a quarterback or is he a running back? Ken Dodd,
I'll answer that.
He's a quarterback. I'll just say this: he's a quarterback, and yeah, he can run, but he is a quarterback. I mean, he made some throws last year that made your jaw drop when he didn't have much to work with. I think you just
open. Yeah,
okay. Hold on. I don't see this on my memo. This is not a topic. Yeah, let's get back
this is so John Dorn. This is so John Dorn can just interrupt me 18 times. But no,
Ken, he did kind of steal Montgomery's job though.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean, look at. So I mean, he ran a lot last year. Got it, great. But he made some throws that last year. Let's face it, we were receiver challenged when it came to giving him targets. I think as a passer,
Lamar Jackson do the same thing?
Okay, let me finish. I think as a passer, the one negative I have on Justin Fields from last year, the one negative I have from last year is this. Sometimes when he should have pulled the trigger, he's a little too hesitant to throw the ball when he would have been fine to throw the ball. He made some throws last year that were like, okay, wow, this guy is a passer. He was being overly cautious. You're right, Bill. And I think he needs to put more faith in his receivers and his ability to put the ball in places because he showed he could last year. He just needs to pull the trigger more. There were a couple times last year where he's like, dude, just pull the trigger. But yes, he's a quarterback. He's growing. I think you'll see him make some more throws this year. He's gonna be that kind of quarterback. And yeah, you can compare him to Lamar. But yeah, he's a quarterback. He just happens to be able to
compared him to Lamar? Man, I don't know about that. Hey, Sullivan, what's your thought? Hey, Sullivan, is he a running back or a quarterback, buddy? What is he?
Running back.
You're gonna say running back?
I'm gonna say running back. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, while you're on, let me ask you one more question. Are the Vikings frauds or no?
No, not at all.
You said no, not today, huh? But go ahead. You were going to say something, Sully. Go ahead.
Not September.
Just next season, right? Just next season, there'll be frauds. That's all.
Nope, not at all.
Just like
we're gonna have a defense. We're gonna have an improved defense this year coming up. Wait,
with only 5 draft picks and being negative 30 mil, man, you're gonna pull a rabbit out of your ass too, or what?
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about that. You worry about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, dude. That's what you need to worry about.
I'm not too worried. Green Bay knows a little bit about getting Hall of Fame quarterbacks, bud. Check the resume, man. Check the resume.
Sure. Check the resume. Who's the guy before Brett Favre? Who's the guy before Magic Dan?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you had to get our bust out far, you know. So maybe in 7 years we'll see Rodgers in a Vikings uniform.
Magic Dan.
Yeah, right. Not a chance.
I wouldn't. Hey, Bill. I'm gonna. Hey, Bill.
And did they make the Hall of Fame?
I wouldn't call him a running back, man. I still think Justin Fields is a quarterback, and I think he could have the potential. I think he can still be good, bro. What makes me question that though is his decision making. Sometimes it really just makes me think like, God damn, bro.
Well, I mean, you got to give him a little credit. He is running for his life more than half the time, so that kind of makes your decision process a little messed up, you know.
Yes, because they don't have an offensive line and they don't want to draft an offensive lineman in the first round.
He got to take off. He doesn't get a chance to really go through his progressions, bro. It's
right.
Like he has the best, bro. He's got EQ St. fucking Brown over there who acting like he's damn near the
that dude's a scrub. Scrub.
You just said the Bears didn't take an offensive line in the first round. They didn't have a first round pick until this year.
Who said that?
Yeah,
I heard it somebody.
I think that was John
I said
Sullivan,
that
man.
you guys
that was
don't want to take a first round
lineman.
lineman. this year.
I think with an upgrade.
Well, I mean, when you look at
you have taken a first round lineman in the last 5 years, right? I mean, I look at that Daniel guy.
Daniel.
I
don't know. Hey, how about I answer
your center, your best lineman?
Hey, how about Broom? You know, go ahead, Mike, because you know we drafted O lineman last year. In fact, didn't we draft the highest rated rookie O lineman in the league last year? Oh yeah,
Braxton
we did.
Jones at tackle,
Braxton
which
Jones.
was the only Bears player to play the same position on the offensive line all year. I've been saying on my page, on other shows, like they got to move Cody Whitehair back to center, where he was a Pro Bowler, and then go get one of these stud free agent offensive linemen like McGlinchey or something. Then you got Braxton Jones and McGlinchey at the tackles, Broom and Jenkins at the guard, and then you still have the rotational backups with Lucas.
Jenkins is pretty good too.
But again, like I said, your offensive line sucked last year.
Jenkins is pretty good actually.
Well,
if you look at PFF, like Ken would say, like they were ranked pretty good for how terrible you guys are saying. They weren't ranked that bad.
That's interesting.
I mean, and the thing is that
watching how much Fields ran for his life.
Yeah.
Well, if you look, there was a comment from a Facebook user, and the Facebook user said he ran because he had to run last year. That's why the highlights were run.
He ran because he's a horrible quarterback.
Is Justin Fields a running back or a quarterback, Rob?
All right. He's a quarterback that has a chronic problem not being able to move past his first read, therefore he runs. And runs better than what he throws. Here's the deal.
Same thing as Trubisky
there is a lot of teams out there that would be super happy to have pass catchers that are named Darnell Mooney, that are named Chase Claypool, that are named Cole Kmet. I mean, throw EQ in there as a third, fourth option, whatever.
A choke job.
But I think the offensive line got ridiculed a lot, and they're not very good. But you look at the average time that he had to pass in a lot of those games, and as soon as that first read was gone, he was running. You know, he's still young, he's still developing. But to try to sit here and be overly optimistic, like what I'm seeing out of some Bears fans, I think you need to pump the brakes here a little bit and back your expectations off, because even if you do fix that offensive line up and it's better, and you do bring in a couple premier pass catchers, or you have hit on a good one in the draft somewhere, because there's good wide receivers through the first 4 rounds, really.
Right.
I don't see you getting even if you have a wonderful draft and free agency goes excellent, I don't see that's going to take you from a 3-win team to like a 10-win team.
We never said a 10-win team at all. You got to remember, last year the Bears had 3 picks.
4-win team.
Well, so let's move on to Anthony Stewart. What's your thoughts? I see you shaking your head over there. What are you thinking?
I said this over and over and over again.
And over, man. We heard
Justin
a lot.
Fields is a passing quarterback who was forced to run. Let me finish. Check this out. Who questioned Mike Vick in his first 2 seasons? No one. They said that kid could fly.
His first 5 years, no one questioned him.
And then in that second, in his third season, he started slinging the rock. Mike Vick did, but he had talent around him.
Did you watch any of his games, Anthony?
We watch every game, by the way.
Did you watch any of Michael Vick's games?
Have I watched Mike
let the man finish.
Right.
Man,
let the man finish.
Check this out. I'm telling you that our quarterback, J1 Fields, you know what I'm saying, is a passing quarterback. I'm saying that he has trashed around him as an offensive lineman. We're only going to bring 2 of them back, Jones, and I forget the other kid's name, right? They're going to put a line around him, and he's going to be just as good as he was when he was at Ohio State. He was a passing quarterback then, and he's a passing quarterback now.
I think Russell Wayne would agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Let him finish his sentence, guys.
there's a lot of Bears fans around here that there's a lot of Bears fans that in this group. I'll just name a couple, like Lee Grizzly, Oscar, Champ Williams. They say that he's just as good, if not better, than Jalen Hurts, and that basically this year
Jalen Hurts needed coaching.
That's what makes me. That's what brings the ridicule so fast, bro. They say he's better than Hurts, and that basically this year. I want to see that. He doesn't.
But if you compare his stats, like you're saying, it's pretty similar.
Yeah,
go look at it.
College stats.
From the same year, from his second year. Go look.
Their game plan.
That's right, Mike.
If you go look at my page, you'll check it out. Go give me a follow and a like. You'll see all the.
Right.
And look, guys.
The numbers.
Hey, Mike, the Bear fan.
The numbers don't lie.
Well, then you must have missed that post.
Fields and Stacks.
Well, here's the thing. John Dorn, John Winkleman, and some of the other guys on here. Here's the thing. The John Winkleman, John Dorn, the biggest trolls I've seen in this group in a while, who want to talk this smack all the time. Here's the question. If you know so much better, why aren't you on ESPN, NFL Network, CBS, and every other goddamn thing out there? Because every other person you talk to in this league says the same thing Mike just said. It says, look at the comparables between him and Hurts. Look at I'm scared to death of him getting a line. And here's Winkleman. And here's Winkleman. And here's Dorn. Oh, he can't throw the ball. You are the only two people in the NFL universe who think that he can't be a quarterback. But everyone else in the NFL universe knows better than us.
Did lovely Justin Fields play every game in Ohio State?
Yeah. He did. No, but he transferred.
We're talking about
he
NFL time.
transferred.
You're talking about
right?
Fields?
What the?
We're talking about their NFL time.
What's he drinking on?
Drinking something. Ain't too good.
But if you look at the comparables are there, and that's what they're making.
One was the Super Bowl, one only had 3 games.
Yeah, but college. You're talking about
no one's
college,
saying John. John and John. We're not saying he's going to the Super Bowl next year, but his progression matches with other guys like Jalen Hurts. He has a lot of the same characteristics as a Michael Vick, who both these guys have been very successful. So while you two are saying, "Oh, he will never be successful," he never can. Yet the numbers say otherwise.
Successful. I just said he wasn't going to be successful in your offense.
Why?
Why?
As long as he's a Bear.
Well, because it's the Bears. That's why.
Receiving core.
Yeah, he's.
That's your answer.
Claypool was created by someone named Ben Roethlisberger, and after Ben Roethlisberger left Pittsburgh, what happened?
We're talking about 2 different animals, man.
Yeah,
we're talking 2 different animals. You know, and
they like to take apples and oranges and call them all grapefruits.
But we're talking about the same receiver, right?
Well, you want to talk about Claypool
didn't have a quarterback at Roethlisberger. Let me explain something real quick.
Claypool comes in mid-season, has to learn the playbook.
One at a time.
Throw you the ball, right?
After Roethlisberger retired, Pittsburgh didn't have a starting quarterback, a viable starting quarterback. Now, to my Bears. Right, we haven't had a viable quarterback in over 20 plus years.
What about
and now I believe that Fields is that guy. So we don't know what's behind him. So you can't compare him to Roethlisberger. You can't. It's apples and oranges, man.
Winkleman, hold on. I don't think he's trying to compare him to. I think Roethlisberger. I think he's trying to say that Claypool was showing a little bit of promise over there, like he was a pretty good, upcoming wide receiver. And then when he got over the field,
no. I'm talking. He just said that they haven't had a capable quarterback in 20 years.
Viable.
Viable. Yep, viable.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Viable.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And I had an argument with one of these guys on this podcast. It's a Bear fan. When Mitchell Trubisky was a Pro Bowler, keep in mind 32 teams. He was the 32.
All right, come on.
Spit it out, Rob. Come on.
Spit it out.
Get us where you're going.
But Mitchell Trubisky was a viable quarterback.
Okay.
Where's
So
this
what's your
going?
point?
And
My point is, you just sat there and told me that you didn't have a viable quarterback in 20 years.
Well, I mean that's what I mean. I don't even agree with that because I think Cutler was a viable quarterback who the year he had a great offensive coordinator and he had some great receivers, had no defense. You know, we've had some decent quarterbacks. I think though when people are looking at like Chase Claypool, for instance, last year, it's like okay, the guy comes in mid-season, has to learn a playbook, doesn't have any kind of chemistry with anyone on that team except for the tight end, who unfortunately is not the one throwing the ball. And Mooney was out for a lot of time. Claypool's there, and then he had some things as well. So I mean, we haven't seen that potential there with our wide receiving room with Justin Fields. So you know that's going to be interesting to watch this year as a Bears fan and as a fan in general. But as far as viable quarterbacks, no, I could say Trubisky. You could he was viable for at least a season. Then Matt Nagy ruined him. You could say Cutler was viable, but he never had a good defense to go with a good offense, and then. When he had a good defense, he didn't have a good offense.
Just sounds like a bunch of excuses. That's what it sounds like.
It's just look at Green Bay's had a good situation because they've had the quarterback solution. You know, position's been solid for 30 plus years, so they've been able to absorb holes a lot better, not worry. Where Chicago hasn't had that, and when we do get the quarterback, it's just a matter, and they haven't figured it out. 2006, they came pretty close. They had everything but the quarterback, right? If you have a better quarterback than if you have a better quarterback than Rex Grossman, we might win that Super Bowl. You know, but I mean, they just haven't gotten that right mix yet. They've had good quarterbacks. They just haven't been able to
2010
fill
too.
it.
Don't forget about that.
I wanted to touch on another topic with Rob Haspel, not to put him on the spot, but I kind of wanted to get this one on the record here, guys. So, hey, Rob, what do you think about Dalvin Cook? Is he going to be a Viking next season, or are you guys giving him the discount double boot?
All right, everybody better mute their microphones because I am going to tell you right now on record, and you can go ahead and record this. I think he's traded his ass before last year, and I really hope they get rid of him.
Okay.
I agree.
Here's the thing. Everybody's going to sit here, and Vikings fans hate it when I say this, but outside of a handful of big plays and none bigger than his touchdown rush that he had in the Bills game, which was just a weird game anyways.
Right.
I do believe he led the league. I do believe he led the league in getting stuffed line of scrimmage and tackles for loss. And every time that it was a close game, which was damn near every game we were in, you know, one-score games. You guys know how that went. When we needed 3 yards on a first down, he got 1, or he got -3. You know, he's dancing. He's not hitting the holes anymore. He's slower than he used to be.
Fumbling pretty often, buddy.
He needs a change of scenery.
Yeah. All right.
So, Rob, if you cut him, what's your cap savings?
What?
If you cut him, Rob, what's your? I don't think you're going to be able to trade him per se because you know, I mean, I think everyone knows you can go out in the draft and find serviceable. You can get your production guys in the draft, even the 4th, 5th round. So
Miami's already
saying,
offered
I can't trade him.
What are you talking about?
I haven't looked recently because there's been workout escalators, and I do believe he actually ended up getting one of those because they didn't dump him already last week. I want to say something where in the neighborhood of a $16 to $17 million cap hit, and if they cut him, I believe that they're on the hook for $7 to $8 million of dead cap.
He may become one of those cap casualties.
Ken.
Yeah.
I've been listening to the waiver wire, and Miami's already offered us a couple things.
Yeah, a couple of things, man.
Right. Well, if you can get something off Miami, then I would do it in a heartbeat if I'm you right now. Honestly, watching the Vikings.
Hold on. The one thing that is factual is that Dalvin Cook said he will not take a pay cut and he's open to trade.
Yep. John Dorn, what's your thoughts on Dalvin Cook? Should they give him a discount double boot, trade him, release him, cut him?
Yeah, definitely get rid of him. Get rid of him. I'm just wondering what they're going to do with Hunter and Smith. Are they going to keep both? Are they going to let one go just to get
Smith's already talking about leaving.
What's your thoughts, Jamez? Is Cook out of there or what? Is he taking Zadarius Smith with him? Are they packing their bags and hitting Miami or what? What's going on?
They just might. But the thing about it is Dalvin Cook, after his agent said the bullshit he said the other day, it makes me feel like, because he said he's not giving a penny back. And the thing about, like Rob said, bro, he would be literally having a 20-yard game, and then out of nowhere he'll bust a 43-yard run to make his stats look decent. If you look at the stats on a lot of these games, you're like, damn, Dalvin Cook had a pretty good day. But if you're watching the game from start to finish, bro, he's damn near slowing us down. And Greg Rice talking about he's one of the best in the league. How don't you understand the shade, Greg Rice? I understand he's a top 5 back, if not top 3. But the thing about it is, Greg.
Greg, since you're watching, do me a favor. Go back and find a stat, and that's going to be hard to do. Find how many times Vikings had to punt the ball after handing it to Dalvin Cook on a third, and it doesn't even matter the yardage to go. Find out how many times the Vikings had to punt after handing the ball to Dalvin Cook on the third down in the 2022 season.
Greg, if you don't want to call and talk to Rob, the number's on the bottom, 872-216-9360.
Yeah, if anybody wants to call and have a question or comment for anybody on the panel, call 872-216-9360. But hey, I wanted to touch on one thing real quick before you go, Ken. I was going to say, you can't really fault these players for not taking a pay cut. They do put their body online, on the line for us to sit here and have some entertainment. So you can't really fault them for that. If they want their money, give them their goddamn money. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, Bill.
I agree with you. And with Dalvin Cook, actually, if Miami's interested, it's not like for Minnesota where they used to be designed around Dalvin, right? They've grown into a different team. They're not. Right. It's not a team built on Dalvin anymore. But he might be actually be a better fit for what he does in Miami with that team they've got down there. And I mean, look at Frank Gore went down there, did well. Of course, Frank Gore is like nothing we've ever seen. But I mean, Dalvin Cook could go to Miami, and he's still a good back. He could have a resurrection down there. That might be the perfect thing for him.
So
Bucks, they're like $60 million under the cap.
Wow, nice. They got a bunch of money, huh?
You know
Maybe
what?
they'll come grab Aaron Rodgers.
You know what?
So let's
Dalvin Cook's bags are already packed, man.
His bags are already packed.
First of all, you can get a running back a dime a dozen. 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yeah, for sure. That is for sure.
7th round. It's and Cook can't stay on the field, right? Yeah. So why would you invest
he was healthy
in
last year.
That's like these rumors I was hearing about Barkley coming to the Bears. Man, absolutely not. You don't pay any running back. I don't care who he is. Any running back over $8 million a year.
So I
agree with you. I agree with you. And if you look at the teams that have had the success that are always in the playoffs and the teams that have been winning the Super Bowl lately, they're all running back by committee. And it's a group of regular dudes. There ain't no superstar running back. I mean,
right.
How far did the 49ers get with Christian McCaffrey being forced to carry the workload?
That's a bad example. CMC's a bad example. CMC changed that 49ers team. That's a bad example.
They did, but when it came down as to where they had to lean on him,
Rob, they played him at receiver. They played him at multiple positions.
When it came down to where they had to rely on him because they had.
Well, they also had a huge quarterback issue in the Super Bowl, Rob.
But
come on.
They had 4 quarterbacks, dude.
When Rodgers goes to the 49ers, they're going to be deadly. When Rodgers goes to the 49ers,
Rodgers has already confirmed he is not going to San Francisco.
That's just a cover-up. That's a cover-up.
Anyways, I mean,
the Niners have already offered McCaffrey in their first-round pick.
What was that, Jamez? We didn't get to hear you, man.
No, I said he definitely.
Kirk Cousins is a bum, and you want to kick him to the curb. Yeah, I agree. Most fans will agree with you on that one. There,
I wouldn't tell you like that.
You said Cook, Zadarius, and Cousins could hit the high road, right?
No,
and then you guys are going to go looking for Scott Tolzien.
No, we're already ready. We're already on deck with that.
Who do you got developing behind Kirk Cousins? Is there someone we need to know about, bud?
Shit, there's someone that might be potentially better than Jordan Love. Shit, with the many games we've seen from his ass.
I don't know what's in that oil.
I mean,
but
honestly,
that shit must be good down there in Minnesota.
You need to ask yourself
from
that.
Jordan.
You need to ask yourself,
I mean, honestly, how many interceptions does Jordan Love have on his career? Bill, the Packers fan, I need a reminder. How many interceptions did he throw in that game?
What's that? What you got to say there, buddy?
How many interceptions does Jordan Love have?
You want to take that, John Dorn?
Yeah, most interceptions was in fucking preseason.
I already answered that question.
It's not about the interceptions. It's about the fact that when he got to play,
he's a backup quarterback. Career.
I'm just curious who they got sitting behind Kirk Cousins. I mean, do they got somebody hidden in
honestly,
in a shed?
One of your fans actually called Jordan Love Joshua Love.
All right, let me ask you this, Jamez. Are you guys drafting a quarterback this year?
I doubt it. They're saying
not even in the middle rounds. No, what do you think, Rob? Are you drafting a quarterback at least in the middle rounds? At least
they have to. I don't know about middle rounds.
You got to have some thought in the back of your head about Kirk Cousins not coming back after the contract. You got to always have a backup plan.
Kirk Cousins will play this year for sure, maybe next. But I if they feel like that they do enough in they got enough to fix the holes in free agency, and the draft goes well, and they picked up somebody like Stetson Bennett in the later rounds, I could see that happening.
Okay, like in maybe the third or fourth round.
Yeah, just middle, late, whatever.
So let me ask you this, Rob. Do you think Jamez is just being a homer when he says that they don't need to get a quarterback?
Well, we do need another backup one way or another. We finished the season with only 2 QBs in the roster. We need one more.
See, I'm telling you, Jamez, man, you got to pay attention around here, buddy. You might actually learn something,
Well, I know,
we need one more quarterback. I guarantee you that.
We're still working on
not one more. You need one that can win the big game.
I think there's
you
only
have
one
a quarterback.
Hey,
you just need one that can win the big game.
There's only one team in this division there's only one team in this division that you could probably say won't draft a quarterback anywhere in the draft, and that's because they just don't know what their quarterback situation is yet, and that would be Green Bay. Everyone else needs a backup. So whether they're going to get one via free agency or make a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round draft pick out of one of these quarterbacks in the draft this year, the other 3 teams can all draft a quarterback in this draft, and everyone could be okay, fine, because they need a backup to develop whatever. Green Bay is the only team not in that boat right now because you have the Aaron Rodgers, I don't want drama, but let me go be on every show and talk about myself drama queen.
He goes on one show weekly because people cry that he doesn't respond.
He did a couple this week. But I mean, honestly, though,
on the retreat.
Right, but I mean, honestly, though, Green Bay is the only team right now, today, that has 2 quarterbacks on the roster. They could say, I've got a starter and a backup. Every other team in the division has at minimum a starter and can all stand to draft someone at some point in this draft, at least for backup purposes or developmental
that's
purposes.
Reasonable. Okay,
what makes Love a starting quarterback? Tell me that.
He's a backup right now. He's a backup right now until he's a backup right now until they prove that he's a starter. Yeah, it's unproven. But he's their plan B if Rodgers goes, which is it should be because that's why they drafted him in the first round a couple years ago.
So Anthony Stewart is kind of new to the show. He's been on a few times. I want to see his stance on what do you think of Kirk Cousins?
Personally, I think he's a choke artist. Let's just keep it 100.
Okay, so we're on the same page with that then. That's good to know.
I mean, because that guy has an arm, led him to 11-4, and choked the big game. And this, I've been watching this since they signed him from Washington, man. Every big game.
I agree. I've been beating that stone in the head to Jamez for years, buddy, and he still got that smirk on his face. See that? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Jamez, would you like to respond to that, buddy?
Y'all the ones that don't get it.
Any thoughts?
You can call him you can call him a choke artist or whatever you want. And like I said, I've never made it seem like he was like Mahomes or just elite as hell, but he's better than what he is. And I'm not sure. I believe he probably could win the big game if you're good enough around him. I've seen it done with lesser quarterbacks.
Enough around him.
Compared to Justin Fields. Y'all say Justin Fields don't have this and that, and he don't have a line. Bro, Kirk Cousins just carried the 30, 41st, right?
Stop it, man.
You need 8 yards. You throw it 3 yards. How much to your tight end? Instead of throwing it over 8 yards to the best guy.
What else do you need? What else does he need?
He's
got the number 1 receiver in the league. He's got a mammoth offensive line He's got 2 serviceable running backs. He's got 10. What else does he need?
Man, if I was Justin Jefferson, I would have kicked fucking Cousin in the nuts and fucking.
You guys are not asking the right question.
You've never seen the Bears.
Hey,
quarterback.
Rob has a question.
Give Rob the floor for a minute. Go ahead, Rob.
You're not talking about the right things. First of all, here let's look at it this way. There's no offense on any of the 32 teams that can score on every single possession, but Minnesota's defense was so bad last year, especially in the games where they didn't get pressure because for whatever reason our best pass rushers were running around trying to play linebacker. God only knows who called that play, right? Donatel. Yeah. Anyways, they literally needed to try to score on every possession because the defense was giving up a score on every possession. Kirk Cousins played a great game up until the last play of that game against the Giants. The defense was absolutely atrocious. They literally needed to try to score in every single possession. You know, Minnesota. I'm talking Minnesota. freaking led the league up to toward the end of the year. I don't know if they finished dead last, but at one point they were dead last in getting 3 and outs.
Dead last.
Yeah, wasn't your defense
absolutely dead last in getting 3 and outs? That means there's less opportunities as well for the offense to be on the field to try to get the scores.
Right.
And look, you know what, Rob? I'm going to support you for a second.
You want to talk about something around him? How about a defense to help the team out, for fuck's sake?
And Rob, you know what, Rob? I'm going to support you as a Bears fan. I'll tell you what, and I've said this before, and Mike will tell you, I've said on record many times before, Minnesota got their money worth out of him. Kirk Cousins has been worth every penny they've spent on him over this contract. He's put up the numbers. He's given them opportunities to win games, and you know what? You're right. The defense was atrocious this year, and in fact, the last 2 years, if you want to look at the reasons why Minnesota lost a lot of games, you just look at the defense. And unfortunately, I mean, it's what happened the last 2 years. Cousins, statistically, he's putting up good numbers. He's earned every penny of those contracts. I see why they should be happy with him because he's done what you pay him to do, and he's put you in positions to not only be competitive but to win games.
Yeah, I think they should give him a 3-year, $500 million contract.
Yeah, guaranteed money though, John. It's got to be guaranteed, man.
Really? Yeah, sign that fucker up.
And Jamez will co-sign that all the way to the goddamn bank, buddy.
Bullshit.
He said we'll give away the future for the next 10 years to have Kirk Cousins play 3 more.
I'd rather have Jefferson and Hawkinson.
If he was in Chicago right now, they would understand, bro.
So is it true that you were saying earlier that you'd rather have Jay Cutler come back than have Kirk Cousins?
No.
I don't know. That's what I heard. Jamez was saying that all around these Facebook groups earlier today. But John Dorn seen that shit too, man.
Everywhere.
I heard that. I heard that you wanted Jordan Love to play the rest of his career in Green Bay.
I do want. You're half correct for once there, Winkle Dick. You're actually half correct. I do want Aaron Rodgers to start next season, or Jordan Love to start next season. I want to see what the kid's got. I'm tired of watching him sit on the bench. He's had 3 years. He's throwing some darts versus the Eagles. And I want to watch Kenny Crow, you know? I mean, that'll be the best thing that we can see for next year.
Honestly,
how am I going to eat crow on this? Wait, how am I eating crow on this, Bill? I've actually said
there's no way you're
I want to know how I'm eating crow. I actually applauded Green Bay for drafting Love when they drafted him. So how am I eating crow?
Bill, there's no way you're basing your opinion of Jordan Love off of 15 minutes of garbage time versus Philly.
Yep, future Hall of Famer.
Hey, Rob, this is the reason why.
1 touchdown, 186 yards.
This is the reason why before Kirk Cousins, you had trouble with quarterbacks because in Minnesota, you guys don't know what development of a player is. So it's kind of rough down there when you draft them, you turn right to the left, so just going out over, you know?
If Peyton Manning sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 years, wouldn't you be mad?
All right, one at a time, guys. What were you saying, Darian? God damn, this guy's writing books to you guys, man.
No shit.
God damn, man. This guy, I think he writes
that's an
articles.
essay.
I was trying to address this.
I didn't have enough time to read all that. Jesus.
All right. Hey, give it Darian the floor, guys. Go ahead.
I was just
You want to
trying
answer that
address
comment?
a comment. Yeah, one of those
I didn't even
comments
see the
about the
comment.
Lions getting a quarterback. About
Yeah.
the Lions getting a
Right here.
quarterback. I'd say more than likely they'll get one in the draft. I see him as a front runner for Anthony Richardson out of Florida if he falls to him.
Okay, he's like a mid-round quarterback, huh?
No, he's not up today. They're projecting him now to go in the first round.
Well, now you guys got to remember, Minnesota only
That's where
has
the
5
Lions.
draft
Well, the
picks.
Lions
So.
do have the 6th pick, and the Lions have the 6th pick. So there's more than
No,
likely
they're not gonna take the number 6 pick and draft a quarterback. They're happy with Jared Goff.
They got 2.
Yeah, they're happy with Jared Goff. Jared Goff could have very easily been the comeback player of the year last year. I mean, he had a really good year. He's not a terrible quarterback. They're not going to drop a first rounder.
He's a Jimmy G.
Yeah, they're not going to drop an early round round pick on a quarterback right now. If they get a quarterback in the draft, they're going to go more 4th, 5th. Some guy they're going to develop for a year or two to possibly, if the Jared Goff experiment is a failure, then they can go to that guy. But they're not going to throw everything in now.
Johnny B. Good guy coming out of
okay, I gotta
college is gonna be good.
I gotta ask Bill, the Packer fan, a question. Bill,
what's up, Rob?
You spoke about Green Bay, having these Hall of Fame quarterbacks and be able to draft and develop. What is the last quarterback that Green Bay drafted that made it into the Hall of Fame?
None yet.
Sid Luckman.
Rodgers soon to be, and he's going to be a first ballot.
I said no. Yeah. So who have you? What's the name of the last quarterback you guys drafted that's in the Hall of Fame?
Paul
Hornung. I think that's before my time.
Did they draft him?
Tommy Kramer.
That's a running
Rob,
back.
you got to remember, I'm not your age, buddy. I'm in the younger generation.
I was closer.
Tommy Kramer.
What are you talking about, Rob?
Come on.
What are you talking about, Bill? You're about the same age as Rob.
No, not even close, buddy. Not even close.
Well, I gave my opinion.
Rob is what, 39, 40?
But see, that's the typical Viking fan. He's got to deflect. But what is the answer after Kirk Cousins? Is there an answer?
The answer to my question was Bart Starr for you guys.
Oh, okay. Like I said,
they should have known that.
But Bill, they don't need to have an answer. But Bill, they don't.
I thought the question
have an answer.
Who was the last quarterback?
Answer.
Minnesota
They
draft.
don't. No, Jesus.
In the
They
Hall of
don't
Fame?
have to have an answer for what's after Kirk Cousins today because they've got Kirk for at least another year, if not 2 or 3. They don't have to have an answer. The only team right now that needs to have an answer for quarterback in this entire division is Green Bay. And that is Aaron Stain or is he going? That's the only question in the division quarterback-wise.
But see, that's the thing, Ken. We seem to have that issue. We got 2 starting quarterbacks on the roster. So
no, you've got one proven starting quarterback. No, Bill, you've got one proven starting quarterback, and you got another one that you hope you've developed enough to be a good starting quarterback. Because you don't know about Jordan Love. He could be hot trash.
Well, yeah, nobody here
One second. Let's say you guys play Aaron Rodgers this season. Jordan Love leaves you guys. Says, I'm done with this drama.
Well, he's still under contract. He can't just leave.
Yeah,
he can demand a trade.
He's done.
And he don't have.
That's why.
That's
why it's a conversation point in the front.
No leverage.
It's going to create rifts in that goddamn shit. Green Bay might give into it.
Well, he is learning from the best Rodgers, so you never know what he could do. You know what I mean? Throw that curveball at him.
Like, how do I get out of this, bro?
So, question then. So, if let's say Rodgers stays, does Jordan Love demand a trade?
His agent already said that.
One second. He doesn't need to demand a trade. His 4th season in his rookie contract.
Hang on,
and they didn't take his 5th
option. I'm saying, sure, he could demand it, but I'm saying he don't have much leverage for it.
None at all.
He has none.
And he doesn't.
He has no leverage.
He doesn't have much.
Okay, so free agent has no leverage. Okay, yeah.
Do you need much leverage nowadays though? Once you publicly, if he goes on and rant, all he gotta do is say, you know what, fuck the Packers. I'm tired of this shit. His agent gonna get to talking shit on social media like they do nowadays, bro. It's gonna create risk within the.
All right, John Dorn, you want to respond to that?
Oh, what?
Jordan knows
anybody want to respond to a free agent saying, I'm done. Bye.
So if Love goes to the Jets, you'll become a Jet fan, Dorn?
No,
or are you just going to change your background?
Jordan Love's going to play for the Packers, and Rodgers will play for the Jets.
No, he won't, because Derek Carr is probably going to sign with the Jets. If what we saw today, Derek Carr had yet another meeting with the Jets. Derek Carr may end up, if Derek Carr goes to the Jets, all this Jets talk is gone. So, I mean, Derek Carr may end up in New York within the week.
If that's true, why did he go down there twice and nothing signed?
Well, that's the only place he's gone twice.
Often. I don't see that right. That's what I'm saying.
No,
they don't.
Go to
the same place twice and not get a contract coming.
I think a deal is pretty imminent for them.
Actually, from what I've been hearing, the Jets is not the only team Derek Carr has been to.
Yeah. It's not, but it's the only team he's been to twice, and you usually don't visit a second time unless you're serious about him. So I think a Jets deal could be more sooner than later for Derek Carr, which then takes another place off the board that would be a good fit for Aaron Rodgers, or somewhere maybe if you have to trade Jordan Love, you trade Jordan Love. I think the Packers are really they're in the worst position right now, quarterback-wise. Maybe not for next year per se, but for definitely the season after, because they're in a position where they're going to have to spend so much money next year to have Jordan Love sit, and then hope that they either have to franchise him or re-sign him. Well, if they don't franchise him and they just try to re-sign him, he may be so butthurt he may leave. I mean, they've really got an issue up there. They got to find a way to soothe over and contain.
Well,
and the problem is
they got to decide to do his fifth-year option. That's $20 million.
Yeah,
but most importantly, if Jordan Love sits on that bench again, I'm telling you, he's becoming closer and closer and closer to being a career backup. I'm telling you,
I wouldn't go that far, Anthony. No, I don't buy that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
How can you not buy it? He hasn't seen the field in 4 years.
Because Anthony, history says you're wrong.
In 4 years.
Because Anthony, history says you're wrong. Anthony, once again, history says you're wrong. Look at Brady. Look at Favre. Look at Rodgers. All guys who sat behind guys who were superstars in the league. He's not on the bench because he's a scrub that we know of. He's on the bench because Aaron freaking Rodgers is ahead of him.
And so because so because he's behind Rodgers, that means he's going to come in after sitting on the bench for 4 years.
No, it doesn't.
Everybody on this panel has seen him.
Anthony, it doesn't.
One at a time.
Anthony,
like trash.
Anthony, it does not mean that. However, it also doesn't mean he's a career backup because we don't know one way or the other until the Packers give him the opportunity. So your assertion is complete. I hate to say it, garbage, because there's nothing behind it that says just because he's been sitting behind one of the best quarterbacks in the league that he's now all of a sudden had a career
watching
backup.
him play. He's trash.
Watch him play what? He's played one game. In 3 years, he's played one game.
That's my point. And so you anoint him.
We got a bear fight. We got a bear fight.
Green Bay better go draft a quarterback.
Look if I wanted to be a Homer fan,
they wasted his entire career. No one else sees that. No one else sees that. You sit on the bench for 4 years, play one game, and you think you're going to come out and light it up in the NFL?
Look at Anthony. If I want to be a Homer fan, if I want to be a Homer fan, I'll agree with you.
Fields, you know.
I'm not a Homer fan. I'm not a Homer fan. I told you what I think of my team. I told you what I think of the Bears.
I just said your assertion of Jordan Love.
What does the Bears have to do with Jordan Love?
That's the whole point.
You're missing the point.
The point is that no one knows what Jordan Love is going to be.
Thank
we
you.
haven't seen it yet. It's part of the unknown.
And
so it's easy as a Bears fan to say,
What is it going to be?
Also, to clear something up, Jordan Love's actually played more than one game before last year, though.
Preseason?
Not preseason. He's been a start. He started.
He started in Kansas City. He started a game in Kansas City the year before. Yep, and so like what we've seen on him has been very little. But just because the assertion to say that just because he hasn't been able to overtake one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game as a starter means he's automatically a career backup is garbage.
Overtake?
Is Tyson Hill garbage because he didn't overtake Drew Brees?
They got him on the bench. There's no competition. How can he overtake
Aaron Rodgers is the starter.
And they're not playing him.
That's like
if they're not practicing, and he's not practicing with the one. How can he overtake him?
I'm not saying that Jordan Love is the best quarterback ever, but I'm also not saying that he's a career backup because he hasn't had the chance yet. I mean,
he's a backup.
Look at Jimmy G.
You know what? We'll agree to disagree.
And also,
I'll go there.
Not what I see.
All right,
I'll just go there. That's fine.
Next topic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also like to think just because you draft a QB in the first round doesn't mean you play him right away as a starter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Is any we'll just go around the panel and get a final thought, and then we're gonna call it a wrap. You got something to say, Ken?
Let me just say, I thought the Packers when they drafted Jordan Love was a great move. Like I said earlier, they were going to bring him in,
agree.
Hopefully sit him for 2 years, develop him. 2 years has become 3, which becomes 4. I just think that Green Bay right now, I guess in hindsight, they pulled the trigger a little early on drafting their future quarterback. But I think Green Bay, of all the teams in the division right now, they have the biggest question mark over anyone on their quarterback situation. And until we find out from Aaron what he's going to do, that affects Green Bay in every aspect of the game. So really that's the thing right now for the division. What is Aaron going to do? I think the Bears, the Packers, and the Vikings, or the Bears, the Lions, and the Vikings, it's pretty clear what they need to do, what they're looking for. I think right now the biggest question mark in our division is your quarterback situation in Green Bay, and for your sake, I hope it works out.
Hey, John Dorn, do you have any final thoughts, John Dorn?
Wait,
before we wrap this up,
all these guys are pretty much jealous that we got 2 great quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's a bad problem to have 2 starting quarterbacks in there. But
Wow.
Well, my final thoughts are fun fact. Me and Rodgers got something in common, and you're not in my circle.
Yeah.
Fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
All right, how about you, Darren? You got a final thought, buddy? Are you in the?
You're not in the inner circle.
Are you in the inner circle?
I'm not.
That depends on where everybody stands with me.
Okay, all right. Well, you're in my inner circle. How about you, Jamez? Are you ever gonna
just stop with the fake news?
Or are you just gonna keep on rambling? Because we know you're not in the.
You're not in the inner circle.
We already knew that, buddy. But you have a final thought, buddy?
Yeah, man. Jordan Love, I hope he is trash, like y'all saying. But
Yeah.
I'm not upset about it.
If he was good, he would have thrown for 300 yards, right?
Green Bay's about to fall off regardless.
And 5
legitimate,
touchdowns?
it can stand up to questioning.
Yeah, just remember that, Jamez. If it's legitimate,
it can stand up to questioning.
But how about you, Anthony? You got any final thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, my final thought is this: that the NFC North will be one of the toughest divisions in the league next year. Yep.
Okay. Now that's a fan right there. All right. How about you, Winkle Dick? You got anything to say, man?
I gotta say the same thing as Anthony. Like literally, we got the best division. The weakest link is the Packers,
and it's pretty young too. It's getting pretty young.
Yep,
it is a young division.
Yeah, but I think Minnesota has the oldest broken back quarterback.
They're gonna have the number 1 pick. They have the most money to spend to fix the problems. They got a good GM. Hopefully, their front office fixes the problems.
Yeah. All right.
You talking about the Vikings?
All right, guys. That's a wrap. We'll see you again next Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll see you guys. Have a good week, man.
Go back, go.
All right, fellas. Take care.
It was
Same old
Bear down.
See you next week, guys.